With number 1, followed by the Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, and my Packers. Coach Mangini is joining us right now. Coach, any issue with this top 5?
Yeah, I had a lot of issues.
Me too. I had a lot of issues with it.
When you look through the list, just starting with Detroit, so Detroit's now going to go through an overhaul with their coordinators. They're changing both coordinators. Saw how well that worked out for Philly, but it can also go the other way too. I like Johnny Morton a lot, who's their new OC, and they've overcome a lot of stuff, and they've defied odds over time. I just don't know how this transition is going to work because you lose so much in terms of not just what the scheme's going to be, but also continuity of understanding the players, the way that the system operates, the way the building operates. So I think that's a challenge for them. The fact that Buffalo's not on the list, I didn't think that Buffalo was going to do much this season, as you all know, but they did, and this was their transition year. So now they're only losing they've only got 3 guys who are free agents this year, so they should be better positioned to move forward next year. You know, San Francisco, ton of injuries, but they're getting Saleh back, which to me is a big get. And now that he's got head coaching experience, to me it's not just the value of what he can do defensively, but he also brings that back to the organization. They had a ton of injuries, probably not going to happen again.
So you had him in the top 5?
Well, I just think they're easily in the mix, and that's, look, at Cincinnati, having Joe Burrow, and I get T. Higgins as a free agent, and so is Gesicki, but they've made a change at defensive coordinator. Anytime you got Joe Burrow, you're in the conversation. And then Philly losing Kellen Moore and trying to repeat, that doesn't happen very often, and you know, so that's going to be a struggle there. And
so you hated it. We love Bucky Brooks hating the list.
I mean,
Too Long Didn't Read version has disagreed with every single piece of it, which, by the way, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was called the Super Bowl window, right?
Yep.
So I kind of took it like teams that have this window of several years to win a Super Bowl. But even if you go next year, look, if we're talking long term, Kansas City has to be number 1. You know, Patrick Mahomes, 5 Super Bowl appearances in 7 years, like it's just going to end.
I didn't even have to say
like
it.
that has to be number 1.
Feels great.
But I put together this quick list, Nick.
Yeah.
Kansas City 1. I'm putting Baltimore at 2. Again, whether it's next year or long term, because Lamar, he got to be the hungriest dude in the NFL to win the championship.
Now, yeah.
I mean, and the clock is ticking on him and Derrick Henry for that
I feel like
matter.
you say that every year.
I know,
Yeah,
but he's
clock
getting
is
hungry
ticking
around
on
a year.
The clock
Hungry
is
every
ticking
year.
on him.
I'm fine if you want to go Philly. They do have a window. They're set.
And they have a great
Buffalo,
GM.
I put in there. Yep, at 4. Look, I think Washington, Green Bay, Detroit, Houston. Since you mentioned some, I'll go with Washington. I know there's a possibility of a sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels, but they have $75 million to spend. Daniels seemed to show that every test he passed.
Yep.
So I don't know that he's going to have this slump. He looks like the real
You
deal.
didn't even put San Francisco on your list?
They're in the mix, as you said.
His
in
Brock
the mix.
Purdy love
I
is
thought he-
waning.
I thought he was a Brock
Once
Purdy
they
guy.
sign Brock,
Oh, then you'll
I-
feel better about it.
Sorry, bro.
Once you
It
pay
could
him-
be Green Bay. I agree with you. Though. Detroit, I think, might take a little step back. That was a
That's what I was
disappointing year
thinking.
for
I
them.
agree with that, too.
So, I mean, I feel like Coach maybe cheated off my paper, to be honest with you. Almost everything he
Because
said.
that's what I always do.
I agree. So
Run
listen,
into your room to see what you're doing.
Kansas City should be number 1. However, Philly won. Philly's the champion. They are not, while they are losing Kellen Moore, there's not a lot of those key guys you saw in the Super Bowl that you're like, oh, they're pending free agents. So,
But that should actually be a disqualifier. It shouldn't be it shouldn't give them the edge.
Because it's tough to repeat, yeah.
Every 20 years.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree, but I will, if people want to say Philly won, they have a very young defense. Almost all of their key offensive players you expect back, they should be won, so be it. But obviously Kansas City should be right after them. But the Baltimore to me is a touch too optimistic because it does feel like they are in the same position they've been in the last couple of years, and we have no reason to believe they're finally breaking through. Buffalo not being, if people didn't read the article, and I love Bucky, I just vehemently disagree with this, 6, 7, and 8 were the Chargers, Washington, and Houston. So he did not have in the top 8 Buffalo, San Francisco, or Cincinnati, who at San Francisco, if you believe in the quarterback, has to be on there because of what they've done over the last half decade. Cincinnati and Buffalo, when you have a young not young, but young-ish, but superstar quarterback in the peak of his prime, they've got to be on there. Here's my question for you about Green Bay. So Green Bay has a ton of good players.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think they have any great players. And that's my only concern about why I don't know that I would have Green Bay on there.
I think that
guys, I'm really sorry. I love you all. I'm just not going to have. I'm not gonna do Lil Wayne football takes. Okay. I mean, didn't Skip Bayless learn that just doesn't go anywhere? So let's just talk about this list right here. Okay. Let's just get to it. I don't need to hear Lil Wayne's Green Bay Packers take. So I'm sorry, I apologize. But first off, Nick Wright making sense putting the Philadelphia Eagles #1. I mean, the fact that Mangini and Brew, he's like, I'm putting the Chiefs 1 and then the Ravens 2, and I wouldn't have a problem putting the Eagles 3. Oh, you wouldn't have a problem? The team that went to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years? You wouldn't have a problem with that? The team that just hung 95 points in their last 2 games and demolished the Kansas City Chiefs? You wouldn't have a problem with that? That's good. That's good. You wouldn't have a problem with that. What are we saying? Yeah, they lost their OC, and they're going to lose some players probably in free agency. But the Eagles have now gone to 3 Super Bowls since 2017. Like, what are we doing here? The Baltimore Ravens, none. The Baltimore Ravens have actually gone backwards. They were in the AFC Championship game last year, or, in 23, and now this last season, it's weird to already reference this past season as the past season. They couldn't even get past the Buffalo Bills. So just stop. Why do we keep doing this nonsense? Why do we keep doing this with this nonsense? And you have more belief in the 49ers, Mangini, than the Philadelphia Eagles? Huh? The team that for the most part was fully healthy, minus a Greenlaw injury, definitely a bad injury in that Super Bowl. But you had the Avengers all healthy. Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, Purdy. They didn't look like the Philadelphia Eagles. They didn't look like the Philadelphia Eagles did in that Super Bowl. No, sir. No, sir. And again, to be fair, I think all of these teams, that's why I have no desire at this point right now. I have fun doing that. I like to put myself in a corner sometimes and be like, you have to pick top 5. Who is it going to be? I'm sorry, in February, I have no desire to do that right now. I have no desire to force myself to only pick 5 teams. But I know if I had to pick 5 teams, it wouldn't be those 5 teams. And yeah, I am also putting KC. Like if I really, because it's like if I was really going to do this, yeah, I would put Philly and KC #1. I would put them both. Yeah, I would do the tiers and put them both at the top because they both are the only 2 teams right now that have consistently shown their ability to get to the Super Bowl. You can make the argument the 49ers as well. You can make that argument. But the 49ers also have some pieces that are a little, and again, I believe that the 49ers will be good in the future and will right their own ship. But it's not clear to me that they'll be able to do it like this coming season immediately. Like that's because they do have some issues that they are working through. They do have some pieces that are older in the wrong positions. So there is that unknown factor. Which I think would be fair if you had, some skepticism, at the end of the 23 season going into this past season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Which is why I never said that the Philadelphia Eagles, even going into this season, it was like they're the top Super Bowl contender. I said, yeah, no, they're in the mix. They're a top contender. Because they had gone to the Super Bowl the year before. They had 2 bad coordinators. They now drafted. And we saw the moves that they made. Saquon Barkley, right? In February, when it was February of 23, so I guess 24, you wouldn't be able to say the Philadelphia Eagles are a top Super Bowl contender. You needed to see all the moves that they were making. You needed to see the decisions that they made for you now to be like, okay, this team should be legit. So that's why I think it's okay to kind of like kick the can down the road a little bit for the 49ers. See what they do in the draft. Let's see, what pieces they pick up in free agency, et cetera, et cetera. And there are legitimate question marks now around the Detroit Lions. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles know better than anyone. They experienced 2023, so they know. But then again, to not have the Buffalo Bills up there, and you're going to have the Green Bay Packers up there, and you're also going to put the Green Bay Packers over the Washington Commanders. I don't know, man. This list is kind of a mess to me. And again, you're talking about Super Bowl windows. Well, the Jaden Daniels window is just opening. The Packers, quite frankly, they're another season coming up short away from people starting to be like, get Matt LaFleur out of here. Not saying that I would do that, but based off of the fans and the interactions that I've had with them, like it would not surprise me if they come up short, if they lose in the wild card round again or divisional round. There's people that are absolutely going to complain. It's either going to come down to Jordan Love or Matt LaFleur. That's what happens when you come up short, and when you have a prominent coach and quarterback. Someone's got to get the blame, just like how it was Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. Someone's got to get the blame. So, and again, I believe in the Green Bay Packers significantly, but last season was definitely disappointing. Even when they were healthy, I was still like, this doesn't feel right. And if you're so positive in the Green Bay Packers, well, then it's like, well, then you should have some of that positivity then about the Houston Texans. So, I don't know. And again, it's just weird to me. If you're going to say, well, we're not going to put the Buffalo Bills up there, but we're going to put a team like the Packers or the Lions, or is it because you think that it's harder to get to the Super Bowl because it's the AFC, because you got to go through the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, again, like I'm open to that as well, but I don't know. Because then why are the Ravens there? I don't know. This is... We're definitely ripping off the Band-Aid right now for off-season takes. And you're seeing me experience it in real time, where I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like, Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, the Kansas City. I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, people that are saying like, well, I don't hate the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that just won the Super Bowl, being third. Like, and then you're talking about all the issues that the Eagles will have, where they're going to lose some pieces or they'll lose their coordinators, right? Because the Philadelphia Eagles haven't shown their ability to find their way through that path. And again, we're talking about windows. We're not even talking about it just next season. If this was the list for who's got the best chances to win the Super Bowl next year, or who do you think will win, then I could understand. That makes a little bit more sense. But this question is clearly about the window. Bucky Brooks' top Super Bowl windows. So yeah, even if the Eagles don't repeat in 25, doesn't mean that their window isn't a top window. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is officially my ripping off the Band-Aid of off-season NFL takes, where I'm just like, yeah, these are the conversations we're going to have right now. We're going to debate whether Green Bay Packers are top 5 for Super Bowl windows, or the Buffalo Bills, or whether the Philadelphia Eagles should be number 1 or they should be number 4, or they should just be in the mix. We did it, guys. We got through the season. Now we just have to get through the off season. It'll be August soon enough. Usually July. Usually July is when some good stuff starts happening. So we just got to get through the rest of February, the rest of March, April, May, June. So like five-ish months. 5-ish months. That's not too long, right? We can do it. We can do it. We got Lil Wayne here. He's going to help us. Lil Wayne, he's going to help us. He's going to tell us what the prospects are for the Green Bay Packers. I know you guys are all really excited to hear that. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below yours. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.